Hello.
Good morning. I'm just going to, just one moment, please.
Yeah. So good afternoon and good morning and good evening to all of you. It's nice to see you and a warm welcome to this CIMUSET webinar, which is co-hosted with Ingenium, Canada's Museum of Science and Innovation. So my name is Jakob Torg Jensen and I'm a curator at the Danish Museum of Science and Technology. And I'm also the vice chair of CIMUSET. Today we are recording the webinar so we can make it available on the CIMUSET webpage for those of our members who are not able to join us today. And if you need any captions during this webinar, you should be able to switch on that function by clicking on the Show Captions button. Let me start this webinar with a quote by the Indian writer Amitav Ghosh. Let us make no mistake, the climate crisis is also a crisis of culture and thus of the imagination. I think this quote nicely encapsulates the three projects that we will get to know better today. We will listen to three projects of the three shortlisted projects of the CIMUSET Award this year. So the CIMUSET Award is established on the belief that science and technology museums and science centers can change people and societies and thus contribute to the creation of a more equal, sustainable, and peaceful world. Furthermore, the CIMUSET Award acknowledges the profound role science museums play in cultivating a sense of shared heritage, fostering inclusivity and promoting sustainability, and highlighting innovative projects that showcase new hybrid museological practices. With us today, we have Monique Hall, Corporate Secretary and Vice President of Collection Research and Corporate Governance from Ingenium Canada, and also Vice Chair of CIMUSET, who will help me keep an eye on the chat. We will start by hearing the three presentations. They will each have 12 minutes to present their projects. This leaves us with approximately 20 minutes in the end for questions and comments. And you can post your questions and comments through the Q&A function here in the Zoom room. We will start by hearing from Sigrid Faller from Maloka Science Museum in Colombia, and then go to Victoria Ruiz and Lola Cariano from the Science and Water Museum in Spain, and then end with Dr. Lisa Bailey from MOD in Australia. And we will thus end with the winner of the CIMUSET Award this year. So let me introduce the first speaker. Sigrid Faller is a Director of Architecture of Experiences at Maloka Science Museum. She is an industrial designer with a master in social communication and alumni of Noise Leadership Institute. She has extensive experience in the direction and execution of programs, projects, and strategies for the social appropriation of science, including interactive exhibitions, educational materials, participatory processes, and co-creation in various STEM fields. A warm welcome, Sigrid.
Thank you, Jacob, Monique, Victoria, Lisa, and Lola. It is great to be here to share this experience of CiuLab. So let me first share my presentation. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share with you this experience of the Citizen and Citizen Culture Laboratory, CiuLab, that we created last year, that has been open to the public for 1 year now. I'm having trouble passing the presentation. Let me see what is happening.
Maybe try to reshare it again, stop sharing and share it again.
Yeah, okay, I will do it. Okay, there we go. Well, first, a few words about Maloka. We are located in Bogota, Colombia. We have been operating for 26 years now. Maloka is the name of an indigenous building that we share in Colombia, Peru, and Brazil, and is a place for sharing knowledge. So it inspires us to be a place where we share meaningful knowledge, experiences that excite and inspire lives and communities. We are a place that has an exhibit hall organized in 3 different topics: energy and matter, evolution and sustainable environment, 5 traveling exhibits, 10 labs, a dome and a digital cinema, STEM educational programs for different communities, and 200,000 visitors per year. This statement from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is a permanent question for us. How can we as a museum guarantee the right that everyone has to participate in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and especially to share in scientific advancement and its benefits? So the project that I am going to present has some context, and is the question that we as museums are doing to ourselves about participatory design. And it is framed in our institutional policy of education that understand the museum as a place for individual and social learning, and a place also to promote a culture of innovation, which means that subjects are recognized as producers of knowledge. So we have those 4 principles that frame that drive the design of the educational experiences. The first one is that community is producer of knowledge, is not only a receptor of information. That science and technology are social processes. They are not only concepts written in books, but they are processes alive, and people can participate of that. Also, we think that learning in the museum is both a means and a goal of the experience. So museum is a place also for learning to learn, and that science and technology are part of the culture. This can sound like obvious, but it's not always in the mind of everyone in our culture. So with this in mind, we are exploring methodologies to involve the people in the design of our experiences, with this question of how can the museum share its voice. And it challenges us to think the experiences from different places, not only from the perspective of the experts, and also to rethink methodologies that question the role of the Science Museum as a reproducer of the hegemonic discourse of science. We want to reach diverse audiences, to open in the space of the museum to be a place for creation, for reflection, and for represent the perspectives of the people about science, to think from other places, and to create communities of learning. So we started this project of CiuLab, which is a place where we want the people to rethink the way citizens participate in the development of the city. And when we started the project, we framed this project within these characteristics that you can see here. First one is we wanted a place where we could promote collective action, to understand that we all together can change things in our city. Also to work on citizen science, the perspective is to develop skills of observation, experimentation, and to understand as a citizen better our city and our context. Also, to be a place for permanent experimentation. And finally, one which is very important for us is to change the narratives that we as citizens of Bogota, I don't know how how can I say Bogotanos in English, speak about about our city. So we started then this process in an alliance with the Institute of Urban Development of the city, a governmental place, and started designing the lab within these three topics: sustainable mobility, coexistence in public spaces, and circular economy. And those were also topics that people were thinking about the city. We work in 3 moments: situate, ideate, and prototype, with 5 different groups of people. And we invited them to think about what things of the city they wanted to change, to ideate how they could promote this change within their partners in the city, and then we started prototyping these ideas to develop the educational artifacts that were going to be part of the of CiuLab. So let me move it. So within this process, we started the design of the place based on the ideas of the citizens. We make first a big survey where 457 people participated to share their perceptions of the city. We asked them if they wanted to volunteer to work with the museum in the design of the place. And we finally got 39 volunteers that worked with us for a time of about 2 months. We have 3 different moments of meeting with them. And we also work with other governmental institutions to have 3 more teams: 2 of children from 8 to 16, and 1 from older adults, and worked on this methodology that I just briefly presented. And we had a lot of ideas, so then we categorized them in groups. It was great to see that the ideas that the Institute of Urban Development had about the topics that the lab could address were also things that people have in their minds as possibilities to work in the city lab. And all the ideas that we gathered were actually the models and the artifacts that are presented in CiuLab. No, any of the idea that we have there is only from, or actually arise from the people of the museum. And here we have a few pictures of the groups testing their ideas, and then the final design of the city lab. So in the first photo in the floor, you can see, for example, a game that is named all at the same time in the same city. And this is an educational game where people start dialoguing how can they share the public space and be more aware of other people and have better conversations and better relations. You can see also an urban garden, because one of the concerns of the people were how can we have food which is not expensive and to reduce our ecological print. And then we have another experiences like how can we design our dream neighbor, or an activity where people can design their own street, and the challenge is to move the greatest amount of people with the smallest emissions of gases. So all of the design of the CiuLab is done by the citizens. This is my last video because I know time is almost about to finish. So 102 people participated in the co-creation of the laboratory. 457 gave us their perceptions about the city to start the process. We designed a place with 9 interactive and educational artifacts. And we are very proud that with the design of the CiuLab, we have been building a community of neighbors with 3 new projects that we are working on now. An urban garden. We are also collecting organic waste in the museum with the neighbors and treating it. So it is having this vitality and this experimentation in possibilities that we wanted to have when we started the project. So my last thought is that democratization of science is not only about providing quality content to our communities, which is very important, but it's also a call to generate conditions to support citizens as agents of knowledge production. So this is what is moving us. We are still learning a lot in how to involve people in the design of the exhibitions and experiences of the museum. But we think this way is showing us some clues to go on this pathway. Thank you very much. I think I'm on time, and then we can speak a little bit more. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you so much, Sigrid, for sharing this very interesting project. I really like what you're doing in Colombia, and you definitely deserve to be one of the shortlisted projects for the CIMUSET Award with this very innovative practice that you're suggesting and experimenting with. Please remember that if you have any comments or questions to Sigrid, you can post them in the Q&A, and then we will get back to them after all the 3 presentations. So the next presenters are from the Science and Water Museum in Murcia, Spain. The first presenter is Victoria Ruiz, who studied audiovisual communication and script writing. She has worked as a script doctor and project analyst for film and TV. At the Murcia City Council, she has been employed first as a librarian and currently as a socio-cultural activities technician in the Science and Water Museum. And Lola Trayona is a project manager of Surcobitka. Here, rescued materials from companies' waste are the protagonist. She was a teacher of early childhood for 15 years and is formed by Anne Stern's pedagogy. She is an unstoppable traveler, always searching for different ways to offer the best opportunities for children beyond play. Welcome, Victoria and Lola.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you. I'm going to share the presentation. As Jacob has said, We are here to present you the Descubre H2O project, one of the finalist projects for the CIMUSET Award. To situate you, Murcia is a city located in the southeast of Spain near the Mediterranean Sea. It has a population that is close to 700,000 inhabitants in its metropolitan area, and it's the 7th largest city in the country. The Science and Water Museum belongs to the Murcia City Council, so it's a public, municipal, and also a modest museum, but we receive about 50,000 visits a year. The Descubre H2O project was developed in a pre-existing room of the museum called Descubre and Imagine, a space for kids from 2 to 7 years old. How was this space before the reformulation? As you can see in the photographs, it had a very powerful and annoying light. The noise was unbearable. There were bottles and sticks to create music, but with the resonance of the museum vaults, it produced sensory saturation. There were screens with educational games, but we thought that there are already enough screens in all areas of life, so they are not also necessary in the museum. There was a zoological collection that included aquariums and terrariums. The room's capacity was 50 children plus their families, so the fuzz that was formed was similar to an indoor playground, a ballpark. It's fantastic that kids have a good time, but we cannot forget that we are a science museum, so children can enjoy playing, but there must be scientific learning behind it. Children with special educational needs, with learning or sensory disabilities, couldn't feel comfortable in that environment. Even for the museum staff, the atmosphere was defeating. In addition, the space needed renovation since its creation in 1996. It was obsolete. This reality raised renewing the space with 4 main objectives in its reformulation. The new space had to be an intersection between science, art, design, and pedagogy. It had to be inclusive, adapted to any type of child because every child is unique and special. The room had to be aligned with sustainability and environmental objectives like the rest of the museum, and the space had to be in line with educational pedagogies like Reggio Emilia, Montessori method, or Waldorf education that are connected to nature and use play as a development and socialization tool. We look for different companies whose joint work allow us to achieve these objectives because achieving these goals aligns us with many of the SDGs and the 2030 agenda. These companies were Onirica Mecánica, a performing arts company that explored the relationship between humans, nature, and technology; Circúbica, where Lola works, a company specializing in childhood and environment with expertise in creating recreational spaces by transforming industrial waste into gaming elements; Createctura, experts in ecological architectural design applied to educational spaces; and MP, Murcia Early Childhood School, based on a philosophy that respects early childhood education. The companies work together under the coordination of the museum's technical staff, and the result is that the new space is divided in 5 areas, each focusing on a different concept. Aquatic. It has a longitudinal module with circulating water, recycled toys, and light elements, allows children to learn the properties of water and simulates the human activities along a river, enhancing fine motor skills. Forest. Featuring wood as the primary material, this area introduces modular construction. Children naturally acquire geometric concepts, making houses and cabins with sticks and connectors. Light. Children can experiment with reflections and color that arise when light passes through the different elements. Nest. A space for rest, breastfeeding, and baby play. Only children up to 3 years old can use the dome that you can see in the photograph. And world. Features an audiovisual projection of diverse landscapes and atmospheric phenomena. In essence, space provides recreational opportunities that communicate scientific concepts in an exciting and meaningful way, all without the use of screens. The recycled and sustainable material of the room enhances learning, fosters scientific and divergent thinking, creativity, self-esteem, and autonomy. The beauty was also taken into account in the renovation, unifying color palettes and materials to create a harmonious and aesthetic environment, to which the comfortable acoustic and lighting design make a significant contribution. The arrangement of the elements was carefully designed to consider its use, the circulation and needs of users, reducing inequalities, and transforming the space into a more inclusive place. The space has limited its capacity to 12 children with their families to contribute to this peaceful environment. To finish, we decided also to rename the room, and the new denomination had to include the word water in its name. This word is present in the name of the museum, and it's very important in our culture in Murcia. Due to our climate, water is scarce and a very precious commodity. At the end, H2O, the chemical formula of water, was the winner because it highlights the scientific aspect of the place. So, Descubre H2O space. Thank you for listening. I pass, Lola.
I'm going to be so short. Just talk. Okay. Just to talk about materials and what we do. Okay, sorry. This one, okay. As Victoria told you, we work in Circubica. We transform company waste in learning opportunities. This is the total amount we throw to the waste just in Murcia the last year of waste. O sea, I think it's for fools. Where others see waste, we see object, we see beauty, we see play, and this is what we do. We take objects and give it 2 or more lives before they go to the waste. Also, we are collecting all the materials to create a materials library who can access everyone who wants. Professionals, artists, educational programs, everyone who wants to use these materials can access. This is our first trial, and all you can see in this photo is from the waste, from several companies of Murcia, just from Murcia. Now we are working with companies all around Spain. Let's talk a little bit of H2O. Victoria told you the companies who was involved in this project. I'm going to talk about the play and the play with the waste, not the waste. Now our object. The kids have an object that is contextualized from the beginning of the use, and they can do whatever they want. This is why we need to stop giving the kids plays or playgrounds, just saying what they need, what they have to do, not what they need. Within these materials, explore the capacity of the children to do what they want, not what we want, and this is why we choose it. As you can see, there's good plastic. We put all the materials, also glass, that is not common in playgrounds, and we put all together, looking for the best spaces to give the kids this moment to experiment and to be very concentrated and to play what they want. As Victoria said, there are 5 zones that they can go freely. We don't say you must have 5 minutes here, or they play where they want in the spaces. And not only talk about the materials. Onirica Mecánica, the company who has in charge of the light, has made a very, very good work, because we have songs without materials, but they are also exciting and kids love it. And they can work, they can play with the body, with their friends, and it's very exciting. As I told you, not all the things are waste. We have some songs, some material that we bought, but always always in mind that what are we going to do with this? Can we reuse? Because our principal topic is reuse, not recycle. We are always talking about reuse. This is, we thought a lot what kind of tones and the ages for these songs, and there's, we think a lot to be respectful with the different ages, because from 0 to 7 uses the space, and to respect the play of the kids. And as you see, and Victoria said, this is the nest, the tree house, is thinking up for the 0 to 80s. All with lights and involving the kids. Okay, this is what we want to say. I think
Lola, you have 1 minute left. Yeah, you have.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. For you, Jacob. For you, thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Lola, and thank you so much, Victoria, for presenting this very interesting project from Spain. I really like how you have rethought this existing space in the museum, and also may have a focus on making it accessible for children with special needs. And I love this idea about using reused or waste and having a library of waste that we can use. I think it's a very good idea and something that can inspire the rest of us. So now we'll turn to the last speaker today, Lisa Bailey from Mod Australia, who will also present the winning project of the CIMUSET Award this year. Lisa Bailey is a science communicator and project manager with experience in cultural institutions both in South Australia and the UK. Currently, she is the manager of exhibition and experience design at MART at the University of South Australia. MART is Australia's leading future-focused museum, provoking new ideas at the intersection of science, art, and innovation. We're looking very much forward to hearing your presentation, Lisa.
Thank you, Jacob, and thanks everyone else. I agree. It's been really lovely hearing about the other nominated projects, and I also think the materials library is beautiful and amazing. I am speaking to you tonight from Adelaide in South Australia. It's tonight for me. And so I'd first like to just start by acknowledging that I am speaking to you from Ghana country. So the Ghana people are the traditional custodians of the Adelaide area where MOD is situated. And so I'd like to pay my respects to the Ghana as the traditional owners of the land that MOD resides on and that we work and create these museum experiences on. MOD, we're a future-focused museum based in Adelaide. We're a part of the University of South Australia, and we create...
Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Your sound is very... I don't know, Victoria, can you please mute your sound? I don't know if it's because...
Oh.
I hear a lot of noise.
Victoria, can you please mute? I don't know if that helps.
Okay. Hopefully.
No,
sorry. Hopefully. Is that working better?
Not really.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's scratchy.
Let me just. How about that? Is that a bit better?
It's like,
No,
like a noise.
It's just.
Does it sound like there's a noise behind me?
Victoria, pero apágate el micrófono.
Hang on a moment. Sorry, I'll just stop sharing this for a moment. Oh, I'm really sorry. Okay. Sorry. Is this working okay? Is it working okay? I'll try and come really close to my computer, and hopefully that will help. My apologies for that. Okay. Yes, we're a future-focused museum, and we're creating experiences for young people, and our young people are 15 to 25-year-olds. So we're looking at young adults with our audience. As Jacob actually mentioned at the beginning of the session, we have a participatory exhibition design process, and we use a future themes forum that we run every 2 years. I'll put a link to a paper that we recently published on this methodology in the chat after my talk, if anybody would like to know more about it. This is a participatory method that helps us set our exhibition themes. So this is a picture from our one that we ran in 2022. We invite our target audience and our key stakeholders, researchers, and people who work in government and industry, as well as educators, to have conversations about things that matter to them. And in 2022, we found that we were experiencing this crisis of imagination. We didn't coordinate that, Jacob. We just both kind of came up with that phrase. We found that people were very frustrated with the systems that we find ourselves in not working not being fit for purpose. So people were very frustrated that there was not enough or rapid enough action on climate change, that the education system seemed broken, that democracy wasn't working, and there was a lot of frustration. Access to housing and affordability of housing is a big issue. And all of these frustrations were very, very apparent from our Future Themes Forum. So this led to the development of the exhibition Broken, where we wanted to first acknowledge how our audience were feeling at this time. So we wanted to acknowledge that people were feeling that things were broken and that they were frustrated. But as part of a Futures Thinking museum, our aim is to build futures thinking capability in our audience. So rather than dwelling on how systems are not working, we wanted to build the capacity of our audience to be able to feel like they have agency in shaping the future that they would like. And so the exhibition of Broken was designed, underpinned by hope theory, with these three main kind of guiding principles of requirements to be able to act as act with hope. So to be able to shape the future that you want, you need to.
Lisa.
Sorry.
Sorry for jumping in. Can I just ask you are you using a headphone or something that you can switch off?
I'm not using a headphone. I don't have one.
Okay.
Super handy.
Your Bluetooth.
Let me
I was
see if I
just wondering if it was your Bluetooth, because when you're not speaking, then there's no scratches.
No, normally I don't use one just because I've had problems with. Sorry about that.
It works now. I don't know what you did.
So it's really important to be able to set goals to imagine what kind of future you want. Importantly, and the kind of key focus of our exhibition was being able to imagine multiple different pathways to reaching those goals. What are there need to be a lot of different solutions that we need to be able to imagine. And we also wanted our visitors to feel like they have agency and that the actions that they're taking are making a difference to reaching those goals. So this, I won't play the video in full. I'll just skip past that one because I'm worried that the sound will not work properly. But we started the exhibition with a video that kind of acknowledged that broken system. And then visitors received a token that they used to interact with stations as they move throughout the exhibition. And you can see the token here. This formed part of a live research project where we collected data from our visitors over the course of the year as they answered questions in each gallery about how they perceive the future across those three different categories of hope, agency and pathways. That data set has just been collected now that we've finished the exhibition, and we're starting to analyse that next week with a vacation research scholarship student who'll come in and help us with that. The exhibition itself was designed around a series of what-if provocations to help stimulate that ability to imagine multiple different pathways to achieving a better future. All of these provocations were shaped around the idea that we don't have to actually, in most cases, get new science and technology to solve these problems, but they're provocations around different ways that we might organise society to tackle these problems. For example, what if we put nature first as a design principle when organising our cities? This was a fun experiment in collaboration that we ran. So the provocation for this gallery was, what if we all stuck together? And the idea was looking at how do we act together over a long term when our own individual contributions can seem very small and insignificant. And so this was a large kind of collaborative sticker puzzle that we did over the course of a year. This was right at the beginning of the exhibition, just a little time lapse showing it starting there. And then this was how it was looking towards the end of the year. The pattern itself is an aperiodic tiling pattern that was discovered by mathematicians in 2023. And so there was the opportunity to kind of delve into some of the mathematics around geometry and tiling as well in this exhibit. A gallery upstairs explored the provocation, what if no one owned a home? Exploring a world where we might have decoupled the link between wealth generation and home ownership, which in Australia is very tightly linked. This exhibit invited our visitors to have conversations around a quite difficult topic in Australia. It also had a digital interactive that allowed people to design their own preferred housing situation, where you could look at the trade-offs between choosing different sized houses and different communal living options. We looked at education with the provocation, what if learning meant more? With the idea that getting a qualification is, education is more than just getting a degree or getting a job, but it's finding the thing that you care about in the world and making the world a better place for that thing. And so this exhibit was a collaboration between the university and the Gondwana Aboriginal Art Corporation from Yolngu country in the Northern Territory, where we created an interactive experience that allowed people to identify the thing that they cared about in the world, scan it and send it into a landscape and to see that interact in the environment. And this was speaking to ideas around totems and our responsibility and obligations to each other and our environment. And the last one that I'll talk about were we had two provocations relating to democracy. There was a lot of frustration with democratic systems not working. One of these was one of the more preposterous ideas that we included in the exhibition, which was a collaboration with experimental philosopher Jonathan Keats. And his idea is that democracy is great, but only humans get a say. And his provocative idea was, how could we involve non-human species in our democratic decision-making? And so in this experiment, we had the assembly of trees, where we were looking to see if we could gauge the political preferences of trees by looking at how they responded to stress over the course of a year. So we did a live citizen science art project over the course of 2 years, looking at tree canopy coverage around metropolitan Adelaide, and then asking our visitors to tell if the trees were, getting stressed out or whether they were thriving, and how that might relate to the legislation that we've been passing in Parliament. And then our other provocation around democracy was, what if the future had a voice? And in this instance, we introduced our visitors to our 5 time commissioners. In this kind of, alternative future, these 5 time commissioners would be kind of government appointees who each are responsible for advocating for a particular time frame in relation to the future. So we have a commissioner for urgency who is dealing with problems that are that need to be actioned immediately in the present. The commissioner for the Senate, thinking in a traditional 6-year political time frame. The commissioner for children, thinking in a 20-year time frame. Commissioner for generations, thinking in context of 100 years, and the commissioner for deep time, thinking in the context of 60,000 years. This model was actually something that several people commented and found really useful. I know that teachers have taken this time commissioners model and used it as a framework for thinking about doing strategic planning within their schools. And we also had a community consultation. Again, this will be a video, so I won't play it. But a community consultation in Victoria used time commissioners as a model for doing some community consultation about a project that was happening in regional Victoria, and that actually got mentioned in Victorian Parliament. This is a video of an MP talking about using that time commissioners framework in a community engagement model. So we're really pleased to see the impact of that idea, that model, being applied across education and government. At the end of the exhibition, people see revealed instances where these new ideas are being actioned in the present by researchers and activists and different groups trying to make these changes happen now. So, for example, here you can see an image of Make It 16, who are trying to change democracy by making it more accessible and increasing the voting age from 18 in Australia down to 16. So, for example, this is a way that we might increase participation, maybe not by not getting the trees to vote, but by getting more people here to vote. Also, at the end of the exhibition, people would use their token to place into a station where they would then see their pathway through the exhibition revealed on a large data visualization, and they'd receive a personalized narrative. So you can see an example of one of those here that would give them feedback about how they can be a hopeful actor in the future. And this narrative would change depending on the choices that they'd made throughout the exhibition, and they could scan that and take that with them. So this exhibition has just closed last week, and we had 85,000 visitors, which is the most visitors we've ever had for an exhibition. And yeah, we've had great feedback on it, and that it was trying to do the thing that we were doing of leaving people with a sense of hope and the idea that things can change. And we were absolutely thrilled to be given the CIMUSET Award this year. We very much appreciate that. We've been very lucky and successful in this year with awards for this exhibition. We're very, very proud of it. I think it's some of the best futures related work that we've done as an institution. So we're very proud, and I also wanted to make sure I included a photo of all my lovely colleagues, not all of them actually, this is not all of them, and the actual beautiful award that you did send through. So thank you very much for that. It's very proudly sitting on display on our one of the shelves in our museum. So I'm sorry if there was any issues with the sound there. I hope that came through okay, and please do get in touch if you'd like to chat further.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and thank you for this very interesting project or presentation of this project, and congratulations on the award. And I'm very happy that everything's solved with your sound. We got to, like, your messages got through very clear. I really love how you, it's good, it worked out. I really love how you're like stating these very provoking questions in the exhibition, and like in getting your visitors to think beyond what we usually think, like, for instance, if 3 should have voting rights. So I think that's really...
and then it's interesting
really
because
interesting.
Link that through to work that's happening now where there are people advocating for, natural systems to have rights. So there are several places in the world where, for example, rivers have been granted rights and things like that. So it's kind of these the ideas in the exhibition might have been taken to like the preposterous edge when we're thinking about the future. But there are definitely kind of real examples of where these starts of changes are being made.
Yeah. But thank you so much. Now, if anyone has any questions or comments, you can post them in the Q&A, and I hope Monique will help to keep an eye and then post them. And also, if you, the speakers, have any questions or comments to each other, you're more than welcome to jump in. I have several questions, but I would like to start maybe by asking a question. Unless, Monique, there's some...
At this point in time, there are no questions in the
Okay.
Q&A, but I do have one.
Okay. Please, Monique. Yes.
So my question is for you, Lisa. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all of the presenters. These are fabulous projects, and I'm very envious. But Lisa, the research that you are collecting and analyzing, what is your plan? What do you plan on doing with the research?
So hopefully we'll be able to analyze and publish that research. We're part of a university, and so while we're not like academics at the university, we think it's really important to contribute to the scholarship in the field that we're involved in. So we do have to do human ethics approvals to be able to, I have to submit a human ethics approval application to our ethics review board to be able to collect data from visitors in our exhibition, which we're approved to do in this case. And so we also then will make that data available through the university's open access data repository. So we published our first data set from our 2023 exhibition earlier this year. So that's a collection of people's survey responses to questions about ethics in science and technology, particularly in regard to emerging technologies. So, yeah.
That's great. And that research, is that available at all, or is it?
So the one that we did in 2023, the data set is available, and we're currently working on a paper for that one. And then we're just starting the data analysis for Broken now.
Thank you. Oh, there might be a question here, and there is. So these were single projects, but at least some of you seem to have deeper, more long-term thinking in the background. Is there anything new or revelations or learnings you are taking with you from the projects you have done? And that is from Rena. Thank you, Rena.
I can say something quickly if that's okay. Thank you, Rena. One thing that we did in Broken was be really explicit about the futures thinking skill or capability that we were wanting to help our audience develop. So for Broken, it was the ability to be able to imagine multiple different futures using those what-if provocations, and it really was about stimulating imagination. And that's been really helpful now that we're thinking about our future exhibition planning, is thinking what is that futures thinking skill or capability, particularly for this exhibition that we're keen to develop. And that's something that we've definitely taken from that Broken exhibition.
Well, I like to share some thoughts that we have after doing this project. This was really a kind of laboratory for us as a museum. I mean, it is a laboratory for citizens, but it was also a way of testing methodologies to design the experiences with different kinds of public. And one of the challenges that we have was how can we be how can we collect all those ideas and design a space that could recognize them and present it to the audience. And so we had to have a lot of conversations among the team that was working in the project. So and actually it was important also to say that the people from the Institute of Urban Development work side to side with us. It was not a project that they commissioned to us, but they were working with those in making the decisions and working on that. And this is something that we will have to improve. I think we did it right, and when we saw all the citizens that participated in the opening of the CiuLab, it was great to see how they recognize their ideas in the space. But we have still a lot of ideas that we would like to mobilize, and also we want to there is a difference with the project that Lisa presented, and in the institutional frame. We are not a university, we are a science museum which is autonomous, so we don't have science community behind the museum, or well, behind, yes, but not inside the museum. And one of the things that we want to do is to move more universities and research teams going to CiuLab and using this as an laboratory for them. And this is being a hard part for us. We are working now with a team of circular economy of one university and started a project, but every new project is kind of a lot of work to do to involve them. So the challenge now is not only how do we involve citizens, but how can we change the mindset of researchers to be more involved with citizenship in thinking the problems that the society have. So this is a new challenge or a new step that we have to do. How to connect those different worlds.
That's a challenge we also face here. Victoria, Lola, do you also want to reflect on the question?
Yeah, here at the museum, we are all the time testing the materials, the waste materials. If they work, they rest. If they don't work, we change it. So that the space is alive. And students from Faculty of Pedagogy and related careers come to visit us and to observe the behavior of children playing with these materials. So the space is alive and is changing all the time.
Thank you. And with that being said, do you want to just have a last comment, Lola?
No. Just to say you that as you can see on the back of Victoria, there is a little library that we use to change the materials in the museum, and it's good. As she said, is always changing. But okay, a little tour. We have lots, tons of materials. No, as Victoria said, we are always looking for the children's place to improve the materials, to see what is okay and what is not going on, and changing it. And is when we start, we don't think about it. We thought that it will be more stable, more not all these changes, this change, but it's quite emotional, and to see the children's looking for new spaces or materials, and oh, this is new, and as they enter in the space, it's very it's so nice.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you for adding that. And I definitely idea I want to bring back to the museum where I work, to have a library of waste materials. I think it's a very good idea. Thank you to all of our presenters. I really appreciated you taking your time and sharing your insights from your very inspiring projects. And please, for our participants, please have a look out for when we open the call for applications for the CIMUSET Award 2025, which will be sometime after New Year's. Thank you so much for joining today. Have a good night for those of you who are about to go to sleep, and a good day to those of you whose day is just starting. I wish you a very wonderful Friday and a good weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.